All right, friends, welcome to our Fit Club monthly guest speaker call with Shallon. So excited to chat today. We've known each other a couple years now. I don't know. I feel like just time flies, really.
Yes.
The days go by, the weeks go by, the months go by, the years go by. So it's been a little while, but I'm super excited to chat with her today. She's going to talk all about, family, fitness, balance, postpartum recovery, all the things that I know a lot of people have been through or will be going through, and will get some value out of this call. So, first, let's do an intro. Tell us about you. Tell us what you do, life, kids, family, where you live, all the things.
Yeah. So my name is Shallon Pait. I am from Southern Indiana. Grew up in a little small town, and the husband pulled me a little bit to the suburbs. But I was a school teacher for 13 years. And then after baby two, I struggled to go back. And so I did go back, but we made a plan for me to stay home. So I just finished my 5th year staying home. The plan was to immediately get my real estate license. And instead, I became a Pure Barre instructor. And so you can imagine that the finances between those two are very drastically different. So eventually, I did start my real estate license, got pregnant with number 3. So the real estate lingered a little bit, but I have been selling for 2 years now. And so, but before I got my license, we had been flipping and building and renting and doing all those things for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And so now we have 3 kids, my husband, Matt, and I. We have Liza, who is 9, Rosie, who is 6, and Susie, who is 2. So 3 girls. I am a Pure Barre instructor, and Matt and I both turned 40 this past year. He is still in education. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love it. I love it. It's funny because, our plans are always so, well, this is our plan. And then the plan is not the plan, but you just flex, right? You just make it happen.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit like your average day. I know right now it's summertime. Summertime's usually slightly different, especially with kids, school age kids.
Yeah.
But in general, like, I know you get up super early. I get up super early. We're like besties in that.
Yes.
And so tell us a typical day in your life. And just so people can see kind of like where you're coming from.
Yeah. So a typical day for me, the alarm goes off at 4:45. 5 is usually the latest. More days than not, I just go straight to the basement and I get on my treadmill. I usually just walk a mile. That's kind of my thing, whether it's drinking pre-workout, reading my Bible, catching up on emails. I just have those 20 minutes to get my body moving. From there, I do teach a lot of Pure Barre 6 a.m. classes. And so I may walk my mile and then I head to the studio to teach, or I'll go to the studio and take, or I'll just go ahead and do a BB Fit Club workout from the day before because I'm already up and at it. So 4:45 to 7:15 if I'm teaching is just kind of the workout world, getting my body rolling. During the school year, I rush home, and my husband is a principal, so he does take the kids some days, but we're in that phase. If the hair is not perfect, they're not ready to go with
Oh
dad.
gosh. Yeah.
And so, then I'll get the kids to school. From there, days vary. More days than not, I'm home with the 2-year-old. So it's working on real estate, on the phone with contractors, going to job sites. Like we're not physically flipping a house right now, but we are overseeing the process of a $500,000 home that's going to be probably $1 million home, I feel like, by the time they get this renovation done. So it's just constantly on the go. Our neighbors joke that we are in and out of our driveway constantly. And so usually I have from 8 to 3, that's the school day, to do all my things. Sometimes I have a sitter and I'll run and take another class. Sometimes I'll double up just because at Pure Barre we do these challenges to get X amount of classes in a month, and I'm all about the challenge. But every day it's similar in that it's busy and it's crazy, but it fluctuates. I might be physically working on a house. I might just be popping onto job sites. I might have a closing. I might spend 5 hours showing clients houses. So it's really just chaotic and busy. And I hit that wall after dinner and I'm ready for bed because I got up so
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
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 And
It's funny
and
because
I get up so early because if I don't get it done in the morning, it's not happening. I can say I'm going to go to the 6:45 class, or I'm going to go for a run after dinner. It's not happening. I know
yeah,
myself.
I totally understand. Same. We like
Yeah.
when you get up early and you're super productive, by the end of the day, I'm still here, but I am not. 5 a.m. Becky is different than 5 p.m. Becky. It's
Yes.
just the way that it is. And I'm
Yes.
okay with that. And like,
Yes.
I don't know, it's just the way that it's just what works, right? So I love that. And then evenings, are mostly family time, downtime? Yeah.
Yeah, so we eat dinner. So because my husband's in education, like I usually have dinner ready by 4:35. We eat early.
Hmm.
Sometimes kids will have sports we got to get to. A lot of times we'll do church on Thursday night instead of on a Sunday. It might be my in-laws come over for like an hour and a half so we can go check a job, look at a house. That really, really varies.
Yeah.
But by the
Yeah.
evening, I'm ready to do nothing.
Yeah. And tell me, what time do you go to bed ish?
In a perfect world, I'm in bed by 9:30. Usually it's after 10 because
Yeah.
I feel like my kids don't want to go to bed at the same time. And they're different. They're different ages. And so
Hmm.
sometimes the bedtime, if they all three want me to lay down with them, I'm just like, I feel like all I do is put kids to bed for an hour, hour and a half.
Hmm.
But yeah. But I like
Yeah.
usually it's 10. I would love it to be 9:30.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're doing what you can with what you got. And clearly, I mean, you're in good health. We talk a lot about sleep quality, sleep quantity, right? So if your quality is really good, having a little less is not the end of the world. But you're obviously in good energy and in good health. So it's not like, staying up a little later is affecting that. I'm confident that if it did, you would fix it. You know what I mean? Because you need to have good energy, right?
Yes.
To do all the things that you do. So we got connected about the fitness aspect of it. Well, first of all, tell me, was fitness always something you loved to do? I know you started out with that you wanted to. Did you play sports? Were you
Yeah.
always like
So
active through
I
the other
was
pregnancies?
Yeah, so I was a high school athlete, so normally you're active and whatnot. It wasn't until I went to college that I actually started lifting. I kind of got on a routine where I did cardio 3 days a week. I lifted twice a week. Then I kind of got into running a little bit more because you don't need equipment. You just run. That's pretty easy. Did a couple minis. I have a family member who opened up a CrossFit gym. And so when he started that, I kind of dabbled in that. I was still coaching high school volleyball. And so I would usually take one of his CrossFit workouts, modify it. I would go do it before practice, scale it to what the girls needed. So when I was coaching, and I've been out of coaching for 10 years, but in that season, I was doing CrossFit 5-6 days a week. I was in phenomenal shape. The nutrition wasn't there. And so obviously in time, I learned how important that was. But when I got pregnant with Liza 10 years ago, I was so lean. I mean, and I stayed active, pretty active that pregnancy. And then I did got back in shape, got pregnant.
Hmm. Hmm.
At one point I was doing fasting, and fasting, it worked for me. I enjoyed it. I was lean. It was good. Got pregnant again, stopped fasting. And that's when
Hmm.
macros entered my life.
Yeah, so that's how we got connected. We were in a similar community connections. But for fitness wise, that's how we got connected because we were pregnant right around the same ish time, right? I think Sage is what, maybe is she 6 months older than
Yeah,
her? Yeah.
October and March.
Yeah, yeah. And so we were pregnant around the same time, having babies, getting back in shape at the same time. So that's how we got connected on the fitness side of it. So talk to me about what that journey, because that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on this month is because we're talking about, summer shred when, there's a lot to be said for just living a healthy, active lifestyle, right? Having the room in the life for the glass of wine or the chocolate cake, I always
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But when you really want to see changes in body composition, you want to get shredded, it takes that focus, right? And so that's
Yeah.
where we got connected. You're like, okay, I just had a baby. I really want to get back. Like, what do I got to do? So tell me
Yeah.
like what that mindset was, what you learned, that part of your journey.
Well, let me say that as I followed your pregnancy journey with Sage, and you were like hitting your macros, and you were just sharing the food you ate. I started eating egg whites or this or that, just dabbling in it. Got on the free MyFitnessPal, thinking, and I knew what they gave me. So had the baby. Once I started working on it, I was like, man, that's a lot of calories. I knew it wasn't right, but I didn't know any different. And so, but again, trying to implement those things that you had shared. And so I had a baby in March, and again, I was in great shape, great shape. Like my cousin took photos after the baby was born. She's like, you don't even look like you had a baby. Like you look so great. And so I really thought that weight would not fall off, but it would come off easier. I don't know why I thought that with my age, but I thought I was in such great shape. So anyways, so I had Susie in March, and we always go on vacation 4th of July week. We got home, and you had been posting about the summer shred, the 8 or 10 week summer challenge. It started in July. So I texted my friend Whitney, from 31, and she was just like, just do it challenge. Like, she kind of pushed me over the
Mm-hmm.
edge. And so I committed, I did the app, and then from there it just rolled. Like, it's trial and error when you first get started. I remember 3 days in, we were at the zoo. It's 90 degrees. We're pushing that stroller, and he's like, "Do you want a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, give me a beer." And I logged it, and I was like, "Oh gosh, that's way more calories than I thought."
Mm-hmm.
But the app. If people have not tried the First Form app, it is. I mean, I want to say it's flawless. I mean, I guess there may be a flaw in there, but for me, it was flawless. Like, and another thing, before I even committed, I was nursing, and I wanted to nurse. And, some people nurse and the weight falls off. Some people hold on to the fat. My thoughts were, I'm going to give it my all for 8 weeks. If the weight doesn't come off because I'm nursing, then I'll just wait, and I'll be okay with that. So much
Mm-hmm.
to my surprise, that must be a myth, because if you are fueling your body correctly, it didn't affect my nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally the entire 8 weeks of that summer shred, or whatever it was called, I lost or stayed the same. But I'm pretty mentally tough, and I was pretty driven, and I didn't want to see the scale creep up.
Mm-hmm.
But just that focus and seeing it in the app, and just then it becomes addicting, really. If you have
Mm-hmm.
a goal and you are eager to lose the weight, you want to get shredded, whatever. If you are really, it is like, it's like a fun puzzle. Like, what's going
It's
to work?
almost like a game. Yeah,
It
it's
is.
almost like a game, and it's almost like a puzzle is the perfect word for it, because what
Yeah.
you find, I think this is sometimes people think like, oh, well, macro tracking or tracking your food is just restricting yourself. No, 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 you are educating yourself on
Yes.
what you're putting in your body and how it affects you, not just your weight, but I'll talk to people and be like, oh, I'm super bloated this week. I'm like, well, let's look at your tracker. You can
Yes.
see what
Yes.
you ate.
Yes.
It's data. And so I love that. But like you said in the beginning, you're having to tweak or like you track something, you're like, oh, I had no idea. But
Yes.
the education piece, the levers that we can pull as far as our movement and our nutrition, I am 100% macro tracker fan.
Yeah.
You're on the same page, because
Yes.
it doesn't lie.
No.
If you're tracking macros and you're not seeing results, your tracker isn't lying. This is like the hard truth. What you're putting in, it might not be true. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, I
Well,
hate to say that out loud, but
yeah.
sometimes you're like, oh, I'm tracking and I'm not losing weight. Well, I'm like, are you accurately tracking everything?
Right. And
Yeah.
there were times that I worried about, I just wanted I wanted what I put in the tracker to be so accurate. But if you're out to dinner, it might not be 100%. But I guess another thing to tell people is, the more active you are, in addition to that, is going to help. Like, when I'm up at 4:45 and I don't sit down till 7, like, I'm going to hit my step goal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So maybe if you're tracking and you're being really intuitive about it, but maybe you're not as active, maybe that's an extra, like, okay, let's try to get 2 more thousand steps today. And what people don't realize, like, just that 20-minute walk on 3, like, it's a slow walk because I'm trying to
Same.
do
3.
things with
Yep.
it. I start my day with like 1,500 steps before I even come upstairs to like do whatever I'm going to do. And so that's huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
absolutely. And I just want to cycle back real quick to the accuracy. Like you said, sometimes you don't know. You go to
Right.
a barbecue, you can't be 100% accurate. But my thought is, when you can be right.
Yeah.
When you can be accurate, be accurate.
Yeah.
And even with the fitness trackers, like, a lot of times I think steps are fairly accurate these days with Fitbits or Apple Watches or pedometers. Calories burned, the sad reality is that is not always accurate. It's up to like 50% inaccurate. And so one of the things I'll just call out real quick, because you had started with my Fitness Pal and moved into the First Form app, which is what I coach through. One of the differences, like my Fitness Pal and the Lose It app, are the kind of the two that I see the most outside of First Form. They add in calories based on your movement. And unfortunately, that's not always accurate. So some people think, well, I earned an extra 500 calories, so I'm going to eat 500 calories. And they're actually overeating because
Yes.
you're thinking you're earning this amount and you're just not. And so I love that. The movement piece is so important. The nutrition piece is so important, but getting those in the right combination. And then, like you said, making it a game, getting kind of addicted to the process, not the
Yeah.
progress, right? You're kind of like, you were like, well, I'm okay with how long this takes. If it takes slower than I think, but I am committed, which is one of the things I just love about you. So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I was just so pleasantly surprised. I started that, it was July 10th. I'm a numbers person sometimes. July 10th was when that challenge
challenge. Yeah.
started. And on Thanksgiving, at that point, I'd lost between 18 and 20. I think that was my goal, was 20. I think I'd lost 18, and I was completely happy with where I was. And my mother-in-law complimented me, and she was like, "You have lost so much weight." And she actually just asked me Saturday or Sunday about the macros and all that. And I was like, oh boy, I don't really want to coach her, but I'll help her if she needs it. But
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
she works out 8 times. She would be hard to coach because she works out 10 times a week, but she'll drink 5 shakes. And like, I'm like, where is your solid food?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
But yeah, because, and that's another thing, I like to eat. I like
Yeah.
to
Same.
eat. I like to physically crunch. You know what I
And
mean? And
chew.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. I just
Yeah. I'm
loved
the
it that I
same.
could eat. I can eat and be healthy, and I'm not
And
starving.
yeah, and fuel your body because you are super active. So it's not, there is this trend to this super skinny, emaciated look, in my opinion, that really just comes from severe calorie restriction and muscle loss, right? That is not us. Okay. We are active people taking care of our families, taking care of our homes, taking care of our people, our bodies, all the things. You need fuel. So it's like, I think the nice thing is with really paying attention to what you're eating. And, people say like a calorie is a calorie. Well, if you want to go live off of potato chips and, full sugar Coke, I guess, but you are not going to have the energy. You're not going to have the muscle mass. You're not, and so what you eat matters. I think that's the beautiful thing is once you really pay attention, you can see, like, for me, especially, I like volume. I want to crunch my lunch, right? Like,
Yes.
and so, I love that you said it. Tell me some of your favorite foods. I don't even know if this is on. I have like a list of things to chat
Yeah.
about. Tell me some of the favorite foods that you eat regularly that help you hit your goal and stay shredded.
Egg whites are my go-to breakfast. And so I did used to eat them, with barbecue. I never thought that I'd put barbecue on them, but you had shared that. And so that became Susie and I, became our morning thing. Now she loves barbecue. And then I started putting like just a sprinkle. And when I say a sprinkle, I track it when I'm tracking, but like it's so little. I just put a little sprinkle of bacon bits and a little sprinkle of like just some shredded cheese. And it just adds enough flavor. And so when I do that, I don't usually do the barbecue. Sometimes I'll just fix a bunch and I'll eat them in a bowl, kind of scrambled up. Sometimes I'll put them on a tortilla. This morning, I ate them on 2 pieces of honey wheat bread. And that right there, when I fix about 3/4 of a cup of egg whites on 2 pieces of bread, I'm not hungry until
Mm-hmm.
after lunch. And usually it ends up being a late lunch.
Yeah, I literally had the same thing for breakfast today.
Yeah.
Egg whites, about 3/4 cup, because I made a cup and I gave some to Sage and 2 pieces of
Yeah.
toast. Yep, that's what we had. I mean, it's just, the thing is, when you find out what works and you like it, it's not like you're trying to choke down food that you
Yes.
don't enjoy. I literally could eat that every day, and it's satisfying. It makes me feel good, and it fuels my body. So yeah, I love that. Did you have any setbacks, any struggles? I mean, because now what, Susie's 2? Did she?
2 in March. Yep.
Yeah. So now you're 2 years postpartum. So not only did you lose the weight and get to where you're feeling good, looking good, you've kept it off, which can be a big struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So any setbacks, any struggles, any advice for, continuity and consistency?
Just do what works. Don't reinvent the wheel. What you learn, if you're in a challenge and you lose the weight, like, yes, if you get out of it, it's harder to reset the mind and get back in it. But like, just knowing it, you've done it once and it works. You know what works. Just hop back on. Like after vacation, we leave Friday for vacation and Saturday, and we'll be gone a week. And I will drink more beer on the beach than I do when I'm here. And then, but my sister's in BB Fit Club, and so is my sister-in-law. And then Matt does a lot of the workouts with me. So we'll all get up and work out more mornings than not. We just will. And we have to get up early, or you're going to burn yourself out because it's going to be 90 degrees in Florida. I guess it's hard for me to say, just do it, be consistent, because I genuinely like to work out. So if
Hmm.
you don't genuinely like to work out, it would be more difficult, but it works. Tracking your macros, the big four, they work.
Hmm.
Just don't
Yeah.
lose sight of them. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
but throughout when like I said, I did those two challenges back to back, the summer and the fall, when I lost that 18 to 20 pounds. And there were probably, I wouldn't say real setbacks, not roadblocks. It was just me forgetting to track for a few days or, eating too many Cheetos. That's my downfall, our Cheetos. So, but
They're like designed to be addictive. Okay. So it's not
yeah,
your fault.
yeah, yeah. And of course, my husband likes the puffs and Susie likes the crunchy. So, I mean, like we got
You
them
have
all.
both. Right. Right. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
will say, and just like crunchy snacks, carbs, that's naturally what I gravitate to. Always has been. It's always been a joke that I could live off Cheetos and Diet Coke, not Cheetos, Cheez-Its and Diet Coke. I just love them. And
Hmm.
yesterday he goes, man, I'm about to get you some Cheez-Its for the beach. He's like, you kind of quit eating them. And I'm like, I know. He got me a box in March when we took a road trip for our anniversary, and I ended up throwing most of the box away. I just know that I love it, but I don't need it. And I know
Hmm.
that would be a setback if I started eating my Cheez-Its every day or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny how things that were so normal, all of a sudden, it's not even like, oh, I wish I could have them. You just don't want them anymore.
Yeah.
Like Jim and I went to a concert up in Red Rocks, and typically, every time we would go, we would always go to this Mexican restaurant on the way. Now he's lost 40 pounds this year, and for this concert, he's like, what? We ended up going to get like Greek food instead because he's like, I just don't want the. He can live off chips and salsa. He's like, I just don't want it. It's not that I can't have it. I just don't even want it anymore. And so your taste buds change, and all of a sudden, like the foods you used to like maybe not love, all of a sudden they make you feel so good, your body starts to love them. And then also the workouts. I know you said that some people don't really like to work out, but you never know what you're going to start enjoying,
Yeah.
right? Like even the burpees. I know when I put the burpees in the first Fit Club workouts, Shallon's like, well, I love burpees. I'm like, well, good for you, Shallon, because I don't. Today, I'm like, they're not that. I mean, they're still hard, but I'm like, they're not that bad. I don't hate them anymore because I've done them so much. So it's just
Yes.
that life lesson that something you
Yes.
don't like in the beginning might end up being something that you love or just appreciate how it makes you feel. So,
Well, and so jumping lunges used to be a thing I hated. And I can remember doing jumping lunges postpartum. And like, so if you are somebody who is a little heavier or you have a longer journey to get, like, those are freaking hard. Take the
yeah,
modification. Like, I can do 20 jumping lunges now, but I remember doing 8 and thinking, this is
this is where I
it.
die.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And as a Pure Barre instructor, I'm all about the modification. Like, do what your body needs. Like, yes, I can do 25 pushes on my toes most days, but maybe
Yeah.
not at 6 o'clock when I'm down there and my body's cold. I'm not gonna, like you don't
Yeah.
always sit on your toes when you work out. And those you will
Yeah.
do yeah, like just protect your body. Listen to your body
Right.
and protect it.
And
And
one of the
people
things is like,
know your body better than anybody else.
and that modifications are not less than,
Nope.
and there's all this research as far as especially women in your cycle and how your energies and and your muscle strength at different times of the month, which I wish I knew more about. That's one of the things I really want to learn more about, but I just feel it in my body at certain
Yeah.
times in the month where I'm just like, no, I'm going to do them on my knees today.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not one is not better than the other, right? Moving your
Yeah.
body is always a good thing. So I appreciate that you said like take the modifications, take care of your body. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you might have someone who's like, oh, I can't do everything, so I'm not going to do anything. Or what I can do is less than what she can do. And so then I'm not as cool or I'm not as like strong or whatever. But your body will change and it will adapt. All of a sudden you might be able to do it. Or, certain body shapes, different skills, different like ways we move. Like you might not ever really love a certain move, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
I
Um,
love what you said about if I can't do it all, I'm just not going to do it. Doing what you can. So yesterday I set my alarm for 4:50 and I didn't get up till 5, which means I didn't get to the studio till just say 5:20. And because yesterday I taught at 6, I knew if I was going to work out, it had to be before 6, meaning before 5:45 when clients came. So I got there and I went hard for 22 minutes because that's all I had. But
mhm.
I had to get it in because then I taught. This was my day yesterday. I'm up at 5. I'm at the studio. I work out. I teach. I go clean my car and I clean our office building. We have that office building, and I'm home by 8:20. All that before 8:20, because then we took our kids to the zoo. We took them to a movie. Then I
Mm-hmm.
had to take each big kid to a different place. And then I had a real estate open house. Then I had to go get another kid before getting home at 8 o'clock, remembering I've been telling my neighbor for 6 days I'd come pick something up when, like, but I
Yeah.
know, like, but if I had not done those 22 minutes, I would have been mad. I would have
Yeah.
felt different. And
Yeah.
I know I need that.
Because it's a promise that you've made to yourself that you are going to be fit and healthy and active. And the thing that I just want to highlight is there are people that I know or probably don't know who might hear this at some point in some way that will have just as a crazy day, but because their day is crazy, they think, well, this is why I can't work out. Right? Like some lives and some seasons are just chaotic. It just is, right? You're not
Yeah.
doing anything wrong. Like some people think, oh, my life is so chaotic, so I must not be able to manage. Like, oh, some seasons, especially with multiple little kids. I have been there. I had three big kids. Now we have our fourth bonus baby. Um, it's chaos, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you have to squeeze yourself out of that equation.
Yeah.
22 minutes. Your body is thankful for, and honestly, your attitude is probably better for the rest of
Yeah.
the day. Like, to
Yes.
be real, if you didn't get that in, you would, all the chemical things too, all the endorphins, but also like you took care of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like that's such a great message that even if life is chaos, even if your days are 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. nonstop, you can find 20
Well,
minutes, 15 minutes,
that's
10 minutes. Yeah.
so so that's Rachel Hollis. I know you're a Rachel Hollis fan. So when I was training for one of the minis, I listened to her audiobooks or whatever. And one thing she said was, you don't just find time. You have to make it. You have to make the
Mm-hmm.
time. And so, do I want to get up at 4? And sometimes I'll get up at 4:30 before teaching a 6 and 7 a.m. class before going to an 8:45 real estate meeting on Fridays. Like, that's just my Friday morning. And another thing I love what she said was, and I can't say that I necessarily did this, but people who are about to embark on a new fitness journey, a new lifestyle, whatever, one thing she said was, sometimes before you take things out, add something in. And I'm like, that's so genius. Like, add drinking in more water. If you know you're going to hit it hard on July 1st, maybe today, June 25th, you start drinking a little more water, or you start taking a few more steps. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
And it just,
totally.
it all just becomes, it all really, this whole lifestyle just becomes second nature if you truly buy in.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that I love is that you're doing all this with a smile, fully joy filled. Like, your life is very full, but it's filling your cup.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's also a testimony to that. All great, my husband always says, all great movies are well edited, right? Like, they'll go film 25 hours of movie to make 2 hour movie. So our
Yes.
lives, all great lives, are well edited. You have edited in and taken things out, put things in and taken things out to make this crazy life that you love,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're not sitting here begrudgingly like, and that I think comes down to mindset of the perspective that you see the things that you get to and have to do, right? Having to potty train a toddler, I'm like, I get to, this is hopefully, I don't say that in a bad way, but the last time I'll ever do this as a mom, getting to versus having to. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about your mindset. Like, you say, well, just do it. And I get that. And it's okay to say that. I know sometimes we think, like, does that come off as harsh, right?
Yeah.
But tell me, like, about your mindset, like the consistent, the promises you're keeping yourself, the showing up for yourself, for your family. Like, what is the mind piece of that?
Well, I will just be honest. I'm not perfect. Like, that May abs challenge, it's on my calendar, and on what I mean, like, I just can't, and I'm not making the time, because if I don't do it first thing in the morning, like, I just
Mm-hmm.
don't do it. So I'm not perfect. I don't want anybody to think that. Yes, I'm committed and I'm focused and I'm driven. Oh, gosh, I don't really know how to answer that. Like, it's just so ingrained in my brain. And it's not pressure. It's not pressure to be the
Right.
best mom, the best wife, the best fitness instructor, the best realtor. A couple years ago, my word of the year, and it's not it's not a mantra that I say every day, but I just wanted to grow. I just wanted to grow. And I didn't know, does that growing spiritually? Is that growing financially? Is that growing as a wife? I don't know, but I truly always I want to grow and I want to be better. And whatever God wants that to be is I'm open to that. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, being a realtor, like, do I make as much money or sell as many houses as most people? No, but I'm also like, I really just want to help people. I have some
Right.
clients right now that they really don't need to move. There are so many variables working against them, but like I'm doing whatever I can to like help them. I just
Right.
want to like grow and be better. And the healthier I am, the better I am for my kids, my husband, for the long term. Like naturally, I'm a pretty positive person. I have a lot of faith. Like I believe blindly. I do. Like I've always grown up in a Christian home where like that's just important, and like
Yeah.
everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't have wonderful words of wisdom here on this one.
No, 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 but that really is one showing that, this isn't like a perfectionism.
Yeah.
This is I see like a service focused heart,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I want to be the best I can so I can serve my family, so I can serve my clients, so I can serve my
Yes.
husband, so I can not as a doormat, but as someone that can come and help people along the journey. That's a servant heart, right?
Yes.
And so it's not, because there can be, I think sometimes when we get wrapped up in, oh, I have to do it perfect because of what others will think of me, or because, I need to post it on social, or because whatever. That's a others focus. That's
Yes.
not, that's like, I want to be seen as. Whereas if you're like, hey, I want to do this because I want to be the healthiest version of me. And I think that's something we talked about in the beginning of us working together with nutrition, is like, we both had babies in our 40s, right?
Yeah.
Because you were almost 40,
I
right?
was 30. I was 38 when I had
Okay. Okay. So
30.
close to 40. I
Yeah.
was 42 when I had Sage. And we were talking about like, no offense, but we're going to be old. We're going to be older when these babies are graduating from high school. And so you really have this different perspective of, I mean, I'll tell you, when I first started working out, it was for vanity. I wanted to look good in my 20s, right? And then I was like,
Yeah.
well, now I just want to get jacked. And now I'm like, dude, I want to live as long and healthy as I can. And so I think it's perspective. I think it's that positivity, it's your faith, but also serving others. We can only do that when we take care of ourselves, you
Yes.
know? So I super appreciate you sharing that. Okay, let's do a little rapid fire. Okay. What is your favorite? I mean, this is probably such a hard. I hate like favorite questions because I'm like, there's
Yeah.
a bazillion options. How can I pick one? But maybe just right now, maybe not of all time. Favorite workout song?
Honestly, I tell Alexa to play workout music. Or I just turn on a Pure Barre playlist because they're just like get it type things. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite workout jam, but I'm also the girl that I've had an Apple phone for how long? I don't even have music downloaded on it. He gets so mad at me when we're out in the country and we don't, and he's like, "Don't you have it downloaded?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Like, I like music, but like
Yeah.
it's
You just
yeah,
put on whatever. And
yes,
do you like, I'm guessing like high energy, right? Because you need
uh-huh,
a good tempo
yeah.
for classes. So do you just randomly put music on your classes? Like whatever's on?
So Pure Barre corporate puts out playlists,
Oh,
and so
got it.
yeah, I don't have the time
Yeah.
to sit. I mean, it would be great if I had like all my favorites, but like, yeah, no, I don't.
Oh my gosh, it takes forever. Honestly, when I first started teaching, like part of the process was like trying to find music, which is like you don't realize how much time that takes, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So, favorite post-workout meal or snack?
either a protein bar or my egg whites.
Yeah. A
Yep.
lot of times, because we will share a lot of times about the importance of having protein right after your workout. And for a lot of people, that is a shake, right? It's easy, it's convenient, calories are good. But like, I don't really often use a
Yeah,
post-workout
I
shake.
don't
The only
either.
time I use a post-workout shake is when I go to First Form and work out with them, because like they killed me and I need it. And it's like in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Um, because I have my egg whites. Same. Like right after I work out is when I'm having my breakfast. So I don't necessarily need it, but protein after your workout is super important. Sorry, side note. Do you drink coffee? Do you drink pre-workout? What's your caffeine? Or
So
any caffeine?
I drink more caffeine than I totally should. I'll be very honest about that, like way more than I should. I do tend to drink my pre-workout. Yes, like I drank it today on the way to a class, drank it yesterday on the way to a class. And I do like coffee. I used to, before I'd like really understood pre-workout, I would fix coffee and drink it, and I'd fix it hot. I mean, I was like sweating before I got there to work out, but typically pre-workout.
Yeah. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have a favorite flavor?
Um, They need to bring back the original cherry.
Cherry. Again, I totally agree. Cherry
They
was
need
the
to bring
best.
back the original cherry, but the berry's good. The
Yeah.
berry's good. Yeah, but the original
Yeah.
cherry was good, good, good.
Yeah. Right now I'm using the lemonade, blueberry lemonade or something. It's all good.
Mm.
They're all good.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure
it's just blueberry
everything
lemonade.
I've had has been good that's been flavored. The
Yeah,
Elkhorn
but
MD,
cherry I agree was the best.
yeah.
Okay, something people might not know about you.
I did look through your question, so I had this one ready. So in 1996, when the Olympics were in Atlanta, the torch relay went through my hometown. And so I have a torch in a case in a basement that I got to carry and run in
That
a
is
little
awesome.
outfit. Yep. Yep.
How did you get selected for that? Tell me. I need to know the
Whoever,
story.
I mean, whoever in Atlanta, whoever the Olympic people, I don't know, they called the school because it literally went through town and they had elementary, high school, middle. They had, they just asked random kids. And so I got
Nice.
to be one of them. Yep.
Was that like, were you nervous? I mean, like, what's the big
Oh no.
deal?
No, I had just finished fifth grade. And so I was 10, 11.
Oh, so you're little.
I was like, and those torches are like heavy. I mean,
Yeah,
and so, no, I wasn't nervous. I knew it was really, really cool.
yeah. That is
So,
so awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
see, we just didn't know.
yeah.
Okay, favorite mantra, motivational quote, Bible verse, something that, inspires you.
So at Pure Barre, we have on the walls little sayings, and yes, you can is one of my go-tos. Um, just when clients are struggling, that's what I'll tell them. And I tell myself that too, as well. I'll never forget, I was going hard like I'm some kind of real CrossFit athlete in the weight room at the school I coached by myself before a game. And the workout was so hard. I hated wall balls. If you've ever done wall balls,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like maybe it was a chipper. I don't know. Just say 20 down to 1. And I was at like 7 or 5. I'm like, I'm done. And I quit. And before I even left the weight room, I went back in and finished. I just have that mindset that like, I can do this. Like I have a well and able body. So I'm going to use it. So
Yes.
yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you will is probably my favorite.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. All right. So I could chat with you all day because I think this is super awesome. But anything that you could think of that you might think would be helpful, someone who's just starting out on their journey that might need some advice or encouragement. What do you got? Let's frame it with someone who has some weight to lose or they want to lean out a little bit. What kind of advice would you give someone?
So trust the app, use the app, use the app. Like right now, I'm not using the app, but like if I had a big goal, if I really wanted to get chiseled or lose 5, I would directly go back to the app. I know what to do mentally, but it's different when you're actually putting it in and you're actually measuring. If you don't have a scale, get the scale. We ended up having one here and one at our river property in our camper. Use the app, trust it, use the scale, use Becky. Like you're a phenomenal resource. You're real, which I can appreciate. I will say if you're just starting and whether working out is your jam or not, do it. Move your body. Like I like to work out. That wasn't a problem for me. But when I was serious in the beginning to initially get that weight off, I would go to Barre and then I would come home and do one of those 20-minute workouts or whatever. Maybe the beginner in the First Form app. But listen to Becky, the big 4. I mean, like seriously,
Yeah.
it's not that hard.
So I don't even know if we said this out loud, but for people that don't know, the big 4 is calories, making sure you're eating the right calories for your goal, right? Protein, make sure you're getting enough protein to keep your muscle and shred the fat, water, and movement. So those 4 things, if you can focus on those 4 things, you will get to your goal. And the more consistent you are, the faster you get there.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the things. Like I told my husband, which we knew that Susie was our last, but I told him because of macros, I would have had no problem having another baby and getting back in
Yep.
shape because it works. Like I
Yep.
wish I would have known about it the first 2 times that I had babies. It's just, I mean,
and I
I
also
tell
love
people
that you said like right now you don't have to track, right? Because You've learned how to fuel your body to help you maintain where you want to be. If you wanted to get, like I said, a little bit of a different goal, you would know what to do. But you're also not going to have to track forever if you really, I would say, embrace the learning process,
Yes.
right? And then you just find what works, and it gives you that little bit of flexibility. Like you're going to go on vacation, you're going to have a great time. You're going to come back and you're going to still feel great because so many things become habitual. Like you're going to drink
Yes.
your water, you're going to get some movement in, you're probably going to have extra food and maybe a couple extra drinks. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes we're already in a space that we don't feel good in our body. It's harder to even enjoy those vacations, or because you almost feel guilty, like, oh, I shouldn't have this because I'm already not where I want to be,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like having a financial budget. People think having a budget is restrictive, but guess what? When you budget for a vacation, you go on your vacation, you have a great time because it's paid for. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas it's different than like going on vacation and putting on credit, and then you come back and it follows you home, right? This is Dave Ramsey talking, but
Yeah.
side note, the whole point of macro tracking, fueling your body, is not to make you feel worse. It's to make you feel better. And
Yeah.
you are such a great example of that.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
I
you.
love it. All right. So I know where people can connect with you. You are on Facebook, you're on Instagram. What studio do you teach at, just in case
Yeah,
people might be
well,
local?
if you've never tried a Pure Barre, give it a try. Let me give you a little Pure Barre plug. So we have 4
Yes.
classes. We have our classic class, which is derived from the yoga and the Pilates and the ballet bar. We don't use it all the time, but that's our classic. It's meant to like lengthen and tone your muscles. 2 and 3 pound weights are all I use in those classes. And then we have an Align class, which is stretch, restorative balance, a little bit more like yoga. We have Empower, which is cardio. Your heart rate is up the entire time. You have the option for wrist weights, ankle weights, etc. And the newest one is Define. And so that's the heavier
Ooh.
weightlifting. And so they're all about 50-minute classes. But like I took Define this morning, and I used like 12s and 15s, the stuff that I would use in BB Fit Club.
Yeah.
That's Pure Barre. I teach at New Albany, Indiana. And then sometimes I pop over. My owner owns the one of them in Louisville, Kentucky. It's the Summit Studio. But try a Pure Barre class. Your first one should be free, whatever studio you go to.
Yeah.
If they say it's
Yeah.
not, tell them it is.
Yeah. You're like, actually, someone who knows told me this.
Yes.
So yeah.
And then, yeah, just
Awesome.
Shallon Pait on Instagram and Facebook, both.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so
And
much for being here.
you're welcome.
Yeah. I so
Seriously, though,
appreciate you.
I just post. I mean, obviously, whether you have 20 pounds to lose just because you've let it add on, or it's postpartum, like it's all the same. Like, do the work.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's easy because it's a lot, but a lot of it's just your mindset. And we talked about that. So just do it. Just do it. Get it done.
Awesome. Totally agree. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Becky.